Well, here we are, another episode of our Wednesday devotional. And I just got out of our staff meeting. So we have staff meetings on Tuesdays in the afternoons. And I just got out of that staff meeting, maybe an hour and a half ago. And I'm really excited about what is going on in and through City Point Church these days. There's just a lot of exciting stuff going on. And yes, we're in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic, and we're seeing all sorts of unrest and really some challenging things in our culture. But the ministry of the church is moving forward. The mission of Christ is moving forward. And so we just got done as a staff laying some incredible plans for our foster church initiative. And so we've got a foster church weekend planned in late August that is going to have an event on a Friday night, something going on Saturday, and then a special Sunday. And so we're just going to see the Lord do good things in and through this initiative. So I'm super glad that City Point Church is a foster church. And then you probably heard the announcement that I made last week with regard to a future facility for City Point Church that we have been incredibly gifted with a piece of land here in Mount Vernon. And so our design team is moving forward with that. So that, again, is just so great. Just laid plans for a team of people from City Point Church to go down on a short-term mission to Mexico in early 2021. And that's definitely a part of our Roaring 20s goals. And so we're going to see a group of people go down there and just make a great big difference, and that's going to be awesome. So that's going on, and then here's another thing that we're doing in the midst of this crazy divide and protesting and riots and everything that's going on. We sat down as a staff and we decided that we were going to try to be like Jesus as a church in this way. So if you read the Gospels, one of the things that you'll notice is we're told in John 1 that the law came through Moses, but grace and truth came through Jesus Christ, grace and truth. And so there's this perfect balance in the person of Jesus Christ of both grace and truth. And one of the ways that we see that lived out by Jesus is who he hangs out with. And so in one scene in the gospel, you'll see Jesus hanging out with tax collectors and sinners, kind of on the fringe, the far side of one end of the spectrum of people who were kind of social outcasts, and they were definitely people who were not in the favor of God at that time, and yet Jesus befriends them and brings them into the favor of God. Another thing, and like in the next scene, you'll see Jesus reclining at table with a Pharisee or a group of Pharisees. And of course, he was the biggest critic of these folks, but he loved them, showed them the grace of God, and many of them did come to Christ through the Gospels and then into the book of Acts. And so we see this in Jesus. Somehow he's able to hold in tension the reality of being with two sides of a society, people, groups that are on opposite ends of a spectrum. In really, they were in disagreement with one another, and yet he's able to comfortably hang out with both groups of people. And so, as a church, we thought, how can we do that? How can we be like Jesus? And so, we're doing something this week. I think is very special, kind of cool, with the Mount Vernon Police Department. We love our law enforcement agents and agencies, whether it's the Mount Vernon Police Department or the State Patrol or the Skagit County Sheriff's Department. We're super grateful for these men and women who serve us in this way. And we pray for them, for their well-being, for their families. And so anyway, we're going to bless them. And at the same time, we're going to find meaningful ways that we can support minorities and other people groups within our community who may be less fortunate, who may have felt devalued. And we want to be a blessing to everyone and bring the love of God and the grace of God to bear upon people. So So that's what we're doing as a church. So there's so many good things taking place that it's really exciting to be a part of what God is doing. So I hope if you're a part of the City Point Church family that you can both get excited about these things, be praying for us about these things, and then join in as opportunity avails itself. And so by way of personal application, I want you to think about this. How can you, as a follower of Christ, in and around your neighborhood and your place of work, how can you bring to bear both grace and truth and hold them in balance in such a way that you rightly represent Jesus? So that's the challenge for us. And I pray that you're successful in that as the Spirit of God leads you. And I trust that He does. God is doing a good work in you and in His church, and I'm really glad to be a part of that. So God bless you. And this is another Wednesday devotional.